today's class I'll be having a general purview of how we can serve popular literature in physics and mathematics. So it will be a very general class in the sense that if you want to pursue physics long term, not only physics and mathematics, but mathematics also. So what is a popular literature? So I'll have first a disclaimer. Disclaimer is that this is what I am going to the survey, the sort of books I am going to, or the sort of literature I am going to recommend. So it's not a substitute for actual study in physics. So you have to study textbooks in physics, whatever proper textbooks which are given in your syllabus, or which you will encounter at a given stage. Any standard textbook is there. Just sit. So what? Without disturbing. So the sort of textbooks I am going to just recommend. So it's more or less personal. Personal means I have studied them. So it's not necessarily because it's also a subjective experience. Because there may be many books I may be missing out. So it's not a holistic, what I should say, it's a bias, how I have studied things. So what I am going to say is that what are the books? This is also called in something called popular science or popular literature. So if you are interested, for example, there is a World of Physics. So these are 3 volumes, World of Physics. So it's being written by Jefferson Weaver. So 3 volumes. So there are 3 volumes, Jefferson Weaver, World of Physics. So if you go in Amazon, you can see the books. So what in this Jefferson, there are articles and papers written by more than 32 Nobel laureates on different aspects of physics. Starting from history of physics, first volume, then a second volume, atom, quantum mechanics, and there are many wonderful essays. For example, previously I was recommending you how to read relationship of mathematics and physics, which is the essay by Wigner, the unreasonable effectiveness of mathematics in natural sciences. So the essay, you can, if you see this first or second volume, or maybe third volume, you can find that essay there. And there are essays by original people like Niels Bohr. For example, there is a particular essay of how Einstein and Niels Bohr, there is a famous debate of Einstein and Niels Bohr about the validity of quantum mechanics. And you can go and see there is a particular paper, epistemological problems of physics, fundamental physics of the problem, how they are being discussed with Niels Bohr and Einstein. It's a famous paper written by Niels Bohr probably. So you can have that very paper in that very textbook. Okay. Or in the same way, in the last volume, if I remember, there are some general essays. For example, there is an essay by Max Planck, Physics and Philosophy. There is a good section on physics and philosophy. So there is an essay by Max Planck, Isidore Rabi, Science and Humanities. There are a couple of very interesting essays. For an initiated beginner or at any stage of physics, if you at least have an overview of that very thing, it will be very much, it will spark your curiosity, or it will satiate you. Satiate means it will help you in many, many ways. So, and one interesting part of these 3 volumes is before at every volume, the start of paper, the author has given recommendation. He has given a sort of biographical note about the person. For example, he is talking about Wigner. Who was Wigner? As a physicist, what are his contributions? He has given a sort of biographical 1 page or 1.5 page about the author, his contributions in physics, in law. So I'm recommending if you want to study physics in long term or short, the popular, so it's very much interesting. Actually, this world of physics, it was basically inspired by a 4 volume, these are 3 volumes. The cost is, you can see on Amazon. I don't know whether it's available online. You can see it online. You can download it. It's free, available or not, I don't know. But this world of mathematics, they have been very much influential in whole of US, and they have been lot of people have immensely benefited from these 4 volumes. So it is written by, you can write these references, scientists. James R. Newman. So James R. Newman, he has collected these essays. So you can, if you go to Google, you can, all the 4 volumes are available. Okay, all the 4. So what are the essays? Don't talk. If you are not interested, you can leave. So James R. Newman he has written 4 volumes. 4 volumes. 4 volumes. So in these volumes, the first volume, if you go to the first volume, there are very interesting essays. For example, what is mathematics? Because a lot of students, in a very, not in a technical sense, in a popular sense, how it's written by, there are good essays by Gauss, there are good essays, for example, there is an essay by Whitehead. There is an essay by Whitehead, is a famous mathematician of 20th century. The name of essay is Mathematics as an Element in the History of Human Thought. Mathematics as an element in the history of human. It's a very wonderful essay. And there is another essay by Bertrand Russell, My Mental Development. So there are many series of essays. And in maybe second or third volume, you can have, there's an essay by Pascal Jordan. He was one of the mathematicians. What is mathematics? So that very thing is very much interesting. And there is a famous result in mathematics that's known as Gödel's theorem. You might have heard or you might hear it. For example, in physics, there is something called Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle says us how much we can assess nature. It somehow quantifies our limitations of knowing nature. So Gödel's theorem is also a result of that magnitude in mathematics. That formalization of mathematics is not possible. But there is a non-technical account of that very essay, of Gödel's theorem. To study Gödel's theorem is it's like you have to go through a rigors of mathematics. But if you want to have a non-technical flavor of it, there is an essay written by James Newman on Gödel's theorem. Maybe 50 or 70 pages, you can read it in long term. And there are, apart from maybe this world of mathematics, physics came after world of mathematics. So there are biographical notes at every essay. There is a biographical note about about that mathematician or that contributor. So there is a particular logician, G.R. Peirce. He was a logician as well as philosopher. So to each essay, he has given a good biographical note about that author, about that mathematician. And he has seen the role of mathematics not only in physics, statistics, biology, molecular biology, in essay of what is life by Schrödinger. So this is also very interesting read if you want to pursue mathematics or in long term or whatever you can satisfy your, because a lot of people, I found it very much personally, very much interesting world of mathematics and so world of mathematics you can go and check out, and they are available on Google. You can download it. So in the same way, there is a one essay I forgot in World of Physics, the physics language and physics by Werner Heisenberg. He's written a very wonderful essay. You can read that very essay. For example, once you go from classical mechanics to quantum mechanics. For example, he has somewhere quoted that the problem of how we can the maladjustment, how we cannot translate the classical ideas into quantum ideas. For example, when you have a classical physics, it has its own vocabulary. When you have a quantum physics, it has its own vocabulary. How we can connect them? There is an intrinsic or inherent problem. So in that essay, somewhere he writes that somebody came to Niels Bohr and he wanted to say that the problem he articulated, how he articulated. He said a young kid came to a shopkeeper. He said to that very shopkeeper, I want 2 sweets. He said him, I want this and this. But the child wanted the 2 sweets, the flavor of 2 sweets together. Mixed. You do not want this sweet, he wanted the mixture of 2 sweets. What the shopkeeper did he gave him 2 sweets and he said him, let you do it yourself. He translated his problem to the child back. So I cannot do the mixing, you do it yourself. So he has, in the essay, tried to articulate what are the articulations of the constructs or concepts of classical physics when you are translating them in quantum mechanics. So there are inherent ambiguities or inherent difficulties. So how we can, that essay is very wonderful essay, language and physics. So you can, that's in world of physics. So this is this much. Now if you want to go again, so this is, so if you again want to go for example, this is famous book you might have heard, Brief History of Time. By whom? You know it? Stephen Hawking. So this book also, when I was in class 11th or something, so this book is, you can read it for popularly, but at the end, the ideas he has tried to explore in a non-technical way, but when you are exploring them in technical way, it will take a lot more time. But somehow he has tried to give a flavor of it. Or there is another book by, first was World of Physics, World of Mathematics, then we can also go for Evolution of Physics. Evolution of Physics. This is a book written by Einstein and Infield maybe. So there are good ideas of how quantum physics, classical physics, statistical physics, he has discussed, there are good ideas discussed there. And there's also another book by Gamow. Gamow has also given a series of popular textbooks, 1, 2, 3. So you can also go for those 3 books if you want to. There is another book, Tao of Physics. So this person is, his name is Fritjof Capra. So this is a person who is from physics background, but he is also interested in the Tao physics. He is interested in Gamow. George Gamow. Among his books is 1, 2, 3, Infinity, and many other books, whichever you find interesting. The another is this person, Tao of Physics, Fritjof Capra. He is a man from physics, but he has also tried to the interpretations of physics. He has somehow made relations between the spiritual aspects of physics. Not spiritual, that he has connected those interpretations of quantum mechanics with the Eastern philosophy, Buddhism, Hinduism, and other schools. So the way people like Erwin Schrödinger, they have also been influenced by Upanishads. So he was, or Werner Heisenberg, he was interested in Greek philosophy. So physicists have normally also have an interest in philosophy. So you can have, this is also one of the popular books. In the same context, there's a one book by, Feynman. Feynman is also one of the famous flamboyant, or he's a physicist of what? He's flamboyant. I'll say he's a popularizer of physics. He has a style. He's more famous. as compared to his contemporaries like Schwinger and other people. But he has also written a book. Surely you are joking. Surely you are joking, Mr. Feynman. So if you read his book, so it is his how he. There are very interesting personal anecdotes how he has tried to see different. And there is another book of his very good. It's a short book, Character of Physical Laws. Character of Physical Laws. So in the second book, he has given the motivations. So the relationship of physics and mathematics. There are some very interesting sentences in the second book.
Yes.
Character of Physical Laws. Character of Physical Laws. Now if you come to the other part of, now I am coming to the proper accounts of relativity, whether it's general theory of relativity or special theory of relativity. So there is a book by Robert M. Wald. It's a recent book. It's a short book. Wald has written technical books on gravitation also. So he's one of the books he has written. It's a short book, Space, Time and Gravity. Space, Time and Gravity. So if you want to read it, so you can read it. And if you want to read, there are maybe a lot of students get a problem in special relativity. Time dilation, length contraction. So if you want to have a popular account of it, there is a book written by Bertrand Russell. It's an old book, start of 19th century. Bertrand Russell. ABC of relativity.
And Google,
they are available on Google, most of them. So another book there's a popular book by David. It's not a popular book, it's a bit technical. David Bohm. David Bohm was another physicist, quantum physicist. So he has also written a book on a special theory of relativity. I will not say it's not entirely technical, it's a bit technical in the sense that it's like the way you read a proper special theory of relativity. Up now we can come to the modern day. If you want to read modern day theories of physics like string theory, loop quantum gravity, so if you want to have a popular account of string theory. String theory is the candidate of what are the ultimate forces of nature, how we can unify them through a basic theory. There is a popular book given by Brian Greene, Elegant Unions. There are many books, but there are many books by Kaku, but I have not read them, but this book I have read, it's a good book, Elegant, for a popular account of how the thing is there. And there is another book, The Shape of Inner Space. It's also very shape of inner space. It's written by Yao Xing and Steve Nardis. So he's one of the great mathematicians of 20th century. He has discovered Calabi-Yau manifolds. Maybe if you are interested, you can just, if you want to explore physics to highest of the level. But he has also ideas of how geometry, mathematics and string theory, how they are connected. It's very much well formulated. It's a very good book. The Shape of Inner Space. You can surf some of 2 pages, you can understand. If you cannot understand whole of it, but you can have some pages you can really understand. And there's another book by, this is 8, 9. There's a short book, Glick. He has written many books. He has written one book on biography of Feynman. So he has written a book, Chaos. Chaos you have understood in popular literature. For example, laws of classical mechanics become, so you have small perturbative changes. Those perturbative changes, small changes lead to big changes. For example, a fly will somehow it will vibrate its wings in South Africa, but it will create a tornado in small other places. So how small changes produce big changes. You got, for example, weather forecasting. It's not in the laws of statistical mechanics, classical mechanics. Everything is known, but we are not able to predict weather. It's a very complicated problem. So how to this aspect of think how it's this, you read this book Chaos. It's a very interesting book. It's also a paradigm in physics, but he has it in a popular account. You can read that book also. He has given. Now I'll come at the end. There are 1-2 books, and then I'll just stop. Book 11 is Susskind. You have heard the name of Susskind? James Lindsay. So, an introduction to black holes. So, a lot of people have curiosity what are black holes. So, one is the popular. You go to any documentary, you will see what are black holes. But if you want to have a bit more popular account of black holes, you can go through this book. An introduction to black holes. It not only talks of black holes, it also talks of string theory revolution and a holographic universe. And I also recommend 2 more books from the point of view of mathematics. 2 books I'll recommend. One book, the name of one of the books is Mathematician's Apology. Mathematician's Apology. This book is written by Hardy. Hardy was one of the great number theorists of 20th century. Have you heard the name of this mathematician, Hardy? So he has written a very good book. Mathematicians, you should go through that book. It's available, you can see it. And another book by Bertrand Russell. If somebody is interested in the philosophy of mathematics, an introduction to mathematical philosophy. And the last book which I am going to recommend is there's a book written by E.T. Bell, Man of Mathematics. It's a very good book. Man of Mathematics. He has talked of contribution of different mathematicians, Cauchy, Riemann, Gauss. You can buy it, or if you want to have it, you should have a copy of it, or you can get it. But if you read World of Mathematics 4 volumes, there is a biography of every mathematician. So you can either read this book or you can read World of Mathematics, and you can have that glance over those biography. It will not only motivate you. So what was my today's motivation of giving class? That apart from studying physics or mathematics in a standard way, so you should have time to time, if you want to feel motivated, or if you want to feel inspired, or if you want to have a non-technical or popular understanding of science, what is called the culture of our times. What's called the culture, scientific culture. It's not necessary you will pursue science long term, but at least you should have appreciation of scientific culture or scientific understanding of things. So this is the sort of recommended literature I have given. So it's in a sense biased. It's how I have seen it. There may be more books available. So my choice is like this. So if you find any other book that's also interesting, you can. But you will be immensely benefited if you just go through this very exercise. Will you stop? If you have anything you have to ask, sure.